The ad hoc rescue is a logical fallacy where after a position is shown to be false because the evidence that allegedly supports it is shown to be faulty, the person supporting the position simply posits a new theory in order to save their position, even if this new theory has no evidence supporting it. While many different theories can be posited to save a refuted position, the ultimate ad hoc recovery is to assert that some future discovery will eventually validate the refuted position. One of the best examples of this is how politicians like Adam Schiff and the entire mainstream media is reacting to the results of the Mueller investigation. Hello everyone, this is My Two Cents. I'm sure you've all heard by now that the Mueller investigation has been concluded, and Attorney General William Barr has announced that it did not find any evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. Much to the dismay of the mainstream media who have been pushing this narrative every day for the past 2 years. Sorry, folks.
You suck!
Now, from the start, I've said this whole investigation was a farce. Did the Russians spread information online that was intended to influence American voters? Of course they did. But so does the US, and so does every government in the world. That's what governments do. They use their monopoly on force to try and affect outcomes beneficial to their own interests. In fact, former CIA Director James Woolsey has admitted on national television that the US regularly meddles in other countries' elections in this exact same fashion.
Have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably, but it was for the good of the system in order to avoid the communists from taking over. For example, in Europe, in 47, 48, 49, the Greeks and the Italians, we
don't do that now, though? We don't mess around other people's elections,
only for a very good cause.
Can you do that? Do a Vine video on a former CIA director.
Only for a very good cause in the interests of democracy.
All right, thanks for being here.
Even if it was the case that Donald Trump asked Russia for dirt on Hillary Clinton, how would that prove that the American people didn't really elect him via the procedures set forth under US law? However, while I could rant about that all day, I'd instead like to talk about how the mainstream response to the Mueller report is a perfect example of the ad hoc rescue fallacy. As Dr. Bo Bennett at logicallyfallacious.com writes, very often we desperately want to be right and hold on to certain beliefs, despite any evidence presented to the contrary. As a result, we begin to make up excuses as to why our belief could still be true, and is still true, despite the fact that we have no real evidence for what we are making up. Now, to be clear, proposing an alternative explanation to a given circumstance is not fallacious in and of itself. However, acting as though the alternative explanation is fact, despite having no evidence or even contrary evidence, is what makes it fallacious. So how is the response to Mueller's report an example of the ad hoc rescue fallacy? Well, consider the claims of Democratic Representative Adam Schiff. Schiff states that, undoubtedly there is collusion, and we will continue to investigate the counterintelligence issues. That is the president or people around him compromised in any way by a hostile foreign power? It doesn't appear that that was any part of Mueller's report. Okay, so the investigation that lasted nearly 2 years, issued more than 2,800 subpoenas, executed nearly 500 search warrants, obtained more than 230 orders for communication records, issued almost 50 orders authorizing use of pen registers, made 13 requests to foreign governments for evidence, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses, concluded that there was no collusion between Trump and the Russian government. Yet Adam Schiff says there certainly was collusion, and also vows that they will continue to investigate? Is he not in denial? Here's where we have to talk about the difference between what is possible and what is evidentially reasonable. Is it possible that Donald Trump and the Russian government did collude in ways that are illegal under US law, but that all the evidence was successfully destroyed, and every member of the conspiracy has firmly kept their mouth shut? Sure, that's possible, but it doesn't seem reasonable considering what we know about how long and thorough the Mueller investigation was. Well, how about this? Could Donald Trump have compromised Mueller in some way? Perhaps the evil Donald Trump fueled money to Mueller in exchange for a promise that the investigation would turn up empty. Again, that's possible, but the mere fact that it's possible doesn't prove that it actually occurred. For that, we would need evidence. But suppose an investigation of the Mueller investigation were to launch. Wouldn't the subsequent investigation be subject to that same risk of corruption? Merely saying an investigation could be corrupted is not sufficient to say that it was corrupted. And if you assumed every investigation was corrupted from the start, you'd have an endless string of follow-on investigations of every previous investigation. The position that Representative Schiff and others on his side seem to be taking is, we'll continue to investigate Trump and eventually we'll find the evidence we need. But the problem is that this statement is unfalsifiable. Suppose the investigation continues for 10 years, finding no solid evidence of collusion. Wouldn't it still be possible that more investigation will find it? How about 20 years of investigation? 50 years? An investigation could, in principle, continue forever, and indeed it would if those conducting the investigation were committed to never stopping until they reached the conclusion they wanted. At some point, an honest investigator would have to admit that the evidence isn't there and further investigation is unwarranted. As Matt Tabai at Rolling Stone has pointed out, all the while the Mueller investigation was ongoing, journalists constantly predicted that it was the beginning of the end for Trump, and that Mueller specifically had found something, and that as soon as the report was released, we'd know the truth about Trump-Russia collusion. They saw the Mueller investigation itself as vindication that Trump was guilty. However, now that it's over, they simply shrug and say that Mueller's investigation was insufficient, and now more investigating needs to be done. This shows that Adam Schiff and others suffering from Trump derangement syndrome never really cared about the integrity of the Mueller investigation. They simply started with the conclusion that Trump is guilty, and then went out looking for the evidence, readily embracing anything that seemed to support their conclusion, but then instantly dismissing it and utilizing an ad hoc rescue the moment it was disproved or discredited. While some more complicated ad hoc theories may be utilized, the one they can always fall back on is the assertion that future evidence will eventually come out. This same fallacy can be seen when people construct ad hoc theories for why socialism isn't responsible for its failures, or to support any other debunked ideological position. Again, I never really cared about the Trump-Russia collusion narrative anyways. As I've written before, government elections themselves are a farce. But the fallout from the Mueller report shows just how susceptible people are to the ad hoc rescue fallacy when their strongly held convictions are shown to be false. It's one thing to say that we should wait to see more evidence prior to any investigation being done. It's quite another to continue holding out for more evidence even after a thorough investigation of the facts brings about an answer you didn't want to hear. So what do you guys think? Is Trump derangement syndrome leading to ad hoc theories in support of Trump-Russia collusion? Or am I myself engaging in fallacious reasoning to reach conclusions that I want to hear? I've always got to be open to that possibility as well. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive notifications of new uploads. And if you're a fan of my channel, please consider supporting me on Subscribestar, Bitbacker, or Patreon. For as low as $1 a month, you'll receive access to patron-exclusive videos, earn the right to participate in patrons-only live streams, join my patrons group chat on Twitter and Discord, and numerous other rewards. Also, be sure to subscribe to my gaming channel for a chance to hang out and chat during gaming streams. Uploads are every Thursday and Saturday, so stay tuned for more videos.